Hey, what's up? It's Swamp, back for another tutorial. Okay, in this one I'm going to redo the door opening one because I didn't explain what was going on the one that I have up. So I'm going to redo it and explain some stuff. So, okay, so first thing is we have these door pieces, and there are three separate pieces that are not together. So what we need to do is we need to glue them together because we want the whole thing to move up. So we select all three pieces, you can hold down L1 and it gives you multiple select. And then you want to go to glue, and you just glue the pieces together. And so now everything's one piece. Okay, so what we're going to do first is we're going to add in some, what we need first is an area trigger, obviously. So we use an area trigger to trigger that when you get close to it. Next, we need an interval trigger. This is going to power the object position event, which is going to move the door. Okay, so next we need an object position event. Putting one down here because we're going to make this door down here rotate open. So, okay, so thirdly we need, fourthly I guess, we need a curved data source. Okay, and I'm going to explain curved data sources. They were a little confusing to me at first. I'm used to using classes in Flash, and they're kind of similar to that. So I'm going to start off, let's just start with the object position event. Okay, so we're going to modify the Y position. We're going to make the Y position by picking value object. We're going to make it equal the linear data, the curved data source. Okay, sorry. Okay, back to the object position event. We're going to turn off rotation, and we're going to select the event target being the door. Okay, now I'm going to set the impulse up to power everything. So what we do is we turn this down to 1 because you want it to move every frame, and there's 60 frames per second, so you make it 1 and it'll be 60 frames per second moving. So it'll be a nice smooth animation. Okay, you power it. The event filter you want to power is the object position event. Now, this curved data source, I'm going to explain this real quick. Okay, what this is one number, but it changes. It goes from this number to this number, and it takes this long to change. And this is how it changes. It's either a linear where it just counts straight, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, just keeps going up to 100 in this case. If you change these to quadratic ease in, quadratic ease out, quadratic is a formula. Ease in and ease out means, ease in means it's slow on the end, so slow starting and gets fast at the end. Ease out means it starts fast and it gets slow at the end. So changing these, I like ease in out where it starts slow, gets fast in the middle, and slows down at the end. Now we're only going a little bit of, we're going to only go 3 here. So you're not going to see much of that curve. It's a nice smooth move though. So, alright, so let's test it and check it out. So there you see it starts slow, gets a little faster at the end, and then slows down. I mean, gets faster in the middle and slows down at the end. Okay, so now what we want to do is trigger this when you get to it. So we need to turn all these things off. So the enabled button, we turn these off on these 3 things. So they're disabled. Then we need to turn them on somehow. So what we're going to use is a state event. Sorry. State event. And what that will do is turn everything on or off. So we're going to turn on the event targets we want to turn on are the interval trigger, object position event, and curved data source. Okay, so now we need to power that, give it a hit from the area trigger. So we hit it like that. So now if you test it, you see it doesn't work, but if you run into this box it will. So let's test that real quick. I'm going to turn on our icons so that we can see when we get to it. You hit it and the door opens for you. Okay, now let me show you one more thing about this. Now this interval trigger, once you turn it on, it goes forever. So what we want to do is we want to turn it off after a certain point. Now our curved data source is lasting 60 ticks. So what I usually do is go 1 tick further just to make sure that everything's done. So I'm going to set this to 61. Okay, so this is going to turn off after 61 ticks. So that means that it won't be doing anything after you go through this door. After it lifts it up, everything will stop, so you won't be hurting the processor, and it'll make for a smoother track if you have a lot of stuff going on. Okay, so this works the same. it still opens up. It just stops powering it after it's done. So that's what we want. Okay, now next what we're going to do is this door here. We're going to make this door rotate open. I'm going to make this middle piece rotate. And you see now, if you rotate it, it's rotating from the center, and we don't want that. We want it to rotate from the edge like a door. So what we need to do is change the pivot point. So what I usually do is take a dummy object, place it close, doesn't have to be anywhere perfect, just place it close and select that and the door. Sorry, let's see, I didn't select the right door. Okay, dummy object and then the door. And what we're going to do is we're going to glue those two pieces together. Now what we're going to do is we're going to change the pivot point. So we turn pivot type to manual and select the pivot point like that, move it over, and we come down. You can see where the edge of that track is right there, so I want to set it right here. It doesn't matter the height. We're really mainly concerned with the green axis, that green line, which is going to make the door rotate from that position. Now you can delete this dummy object if you want, because now the door, we just changed the pivot point to that. Okay, now this is pretty much the same. What we're going to do, except we're not going to modify position, we're going to modify rotation with the curved data source. And it's going to be, that is the event target, the door pivot point actually. If you click the door, it'll most likely select the pivot point. If you have a lot of things glued together, sometimes you have to select the actual pivot point instead of selecting objects, especially with visibility and stuff like that. So just make sure it's going to the pivot point when you want to rotate an object that's glued together. Okay, next we need to power this. Same thing we're going to do. Set this to 1, disable after 61, and you just set this to be 1 higher than whatever your curved data source is. Now we can test this now, and you see it opens the door up like we want it to. Now this is automatically set to 100, so it's rotating 100 degrees, which is past 90, which is going to be all the way open. You can adjust this. You can also adjust the time. You can adjust this if you want to change how it opens. You can test all those things out on your own and play with the different types of curves. Okay, so we're going to disable these so that they won't turn on by themselves. They'll wait till you get there. We need another state event to power this again. So we'll set the state event to on. The event targets are going to be these 3. And then we're going to power that with the area trigger on hit, turn everything on. Alright, now let's test everything. So we have this door opening, and then this door should open up for us. Alright, so that's how you do it. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.